up to speed, up to speed, up to speed.
Live from the apocalypse. Where are we? We're in the Hove lane. This is State of the Game. I am your host, Dan O. Lemon pepper, my oatmeal. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for making us filthy rich, which is what
filthy. I don't know about the rich part,
rich.
but
Disgusting. Eating appetizers off of paintings. That's the money we make off of this. You know, look up to us. So, my us being, also have my co-host here, also very much in the Hove lane. I appreciate you taking time from your dance group, gymnastics, and all that stuff.
we all have to make sacrifices.
Yep. So this is it, man. This is like, and because I know there's a lot of people who are going to see this episode, like the title of it, and be like, "What? What are you doing?" Like, because we should be talking about regular shit, you know, like in our world. I posted in the free side our discussion with Dash Lewis, Dylan Green about Armand Hammer. It's doing crazy numbers, right? We should pick more of that. No, I'm getting a monkey off my back today. And that's Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded from 2012, which has always been a very confusing album to me. It's always greatly annoyed me. And we're going to get into it.
You know she has an album coming out, right?
Yeah. I've heard that. Honestly, I didn't think about that at all. Like,
that's wild. You know,
I
sometimes
found that out after I was like sending out the itinerary for this shit.
Yeah, I mean, by the time this show gets released, it'll be out, which is wild to me.
Great minds think alike and all that.
Yeah, man.
Like we're all in sync. So it's gonna seem like I had a plan, which is nice. That's all. So, but yeah, we for me, this has always been a very frustrating album. I think maybe the most complete Nicki album is the first album, Pink Friday.
Okay.
That's probably the one that I like the most front to back.
Mm-hmm.
It's the shortest.
Now, when you say complete, what do you mean by complete? Like most coherent?
Yeah, I mean, Nicki's always had problems organizing albums. And this isn't like, I'm not like she's bad at organizing. She's got a lot of moving parts to what she's trying to do, right?
Right. So
like if I put together my favorite Nicki Minaj songs, they're all over the map for like different genres and shit. Like she was, you got to give her credit because this comes out 2009 is her first album, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In 2009, everything was very stratified, you know, like people were very normal. You know, I remember when, because Drake dropped, Nicki was dropping. I remember my buddy being like, I'm pro Nicki. And he was like, yeah, Nicki's messy. Her shit is messy.
And I mean, you can, and I'm sure we'll get into it, but I can hear, like, researching this show and listening was the first time that I heard the album. And
wow. Okay.
But what I realized is how much of an influence she had on Drake.
Oh God, yes.
And then you can really, and not only Drake, but also the other. I mean, I think, and we'll get into it, but I think this was an important album in terms of the direction that albums went in the future.
It really was, and it created a big problem for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And I realized some stuff like listening to it, right? Basically, this album got people very mad because the front part of it is rap music, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard-nosed New York rap music, and then it becomes a pop album over the course of it, right? It becomes a kind of the kind of pop that lives in like the Katy Perry zone, you know?
I mean, but it's the kind of pop like these. There's some songs on here that's some of the biggest pop songs of that era, of the early
Oh yeah,
2010 eras.
yeah. I'm not gonna because I don't know if you remember when this album dropped, Rosenberg, like at the big whatever Hot 97 played Starships and then cut it off and was like, cut that shit out. It was like calling it not hip hop and all that shit. And it was a big thing with Nicki and Rosenberg. Like, there's no way around it. Like the pop songs, some of the pop songs on here are the most important of her career.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
some of them suck. So I'm gonna say I made cuts, and I wasn't just cutting. I cut some of everything, right? Like I wasn't just cutting one thing.
Yeah. I'm sure you and I cut some of the same songs as well.
There's a lot of cuts that need to happen because this is like Roman Reloaded. It's kind of we'll talk about the mission state here, okay? Let's talk about the mission state. I think so. I was trying to figure out what this album was trying to do. I don't want to make this into my little album. Fuck
right.
I want to figure out what she was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I want to help get that done better because I don't think this worked. Obviously, financially, it worked. You can't argue with that, right? The money was the money, right? And I think you're right that it was innovative, right? And pop stars after this felt comfortable putting pop songs on their rap album and rap songs on their pop album because Nicki had made that space for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think Nicki opened up with this album. She opened up the door where everyone, you know, that saying, you can't have everything.
Yeah.
I think everyone was like, oh, damn, like, yeah, you can have everything.
Yeah.
And so they started giving everything.
Give you everything. And so to me, this album is 3 albums, right? I said, hardcore New York pop album. These are the 3 elements that really work. There's some others, but they don't work. Okay. Hardcore New York pop album, a rap album, trashy dance album. It's also a trashy dance album that is so fun. Like that was a part of it that like that got some of my friends interested was her sound bass. She likes trashy dance music. Like
I mean,
Skrillex.
I'm looking at some of the people that she worked with on the second half. I mean, Red One was phenomenal. Like he's done a lot of important dance records.
Yep.
Alex the Kid, she's got Dr. Luke on here.
Yep, Dr. Luke.
You know, JR wrote him. So she's got a lot of like the big dance producers.
Big bold dance music. Big cheesy dance music. Like so it's a cheesy dance pop album and a New York hardcore rap album. And the third element is there is an island reggae element to this album.
I mean that's her heritage as well. You know, that's
this album. Yeah.
I mean, I would add there's a lot of no, I wouldn't say I was gonna say trap elements, but there's not a lot of it, but there is some.
It's worth noting, right? Trap is beginning its like second takeover wave or whatever. It's still when does drill kick off? I don't know.
I mean, this was at peak 2 Chainz.
Yeah.
And peak Ross.
Yep. So it has that knock to it, that bounce to it. And we're gonna talk about that, right? That is definitely there. And she can hit that. She can definitely hit that cadence, like as well as anybody, you know. So yeah, we're gonna get to it. I'm excited to talk about it, to break it down. Okay, let me get here. Okay. Here. Do you want to just go into it? Let's do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's fucking go. Do you by the way, do you think there's any elements that I missed?
I mean, there's some slight R&B,
Yeah.
like the early 2010s R&B,
Mhm.
but it's not like pure R&B. It's like R&B pop ish. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different genres and musical elements in this project.
Yep. So let's go with the first song. Let me see if I can play this through here, if it'll work or whatever. Skip this crap. Are you hearing this?
No,
Anyway, I was playing Roman Holiday. I'm sorry.
yeah, I do see you playing it.
Yeah. So Roman Holiday is important, but I
Yeah.
hate it. I hate it so much. Um, I think it's wrong for this album. Now, apologies to you ahead of time. I have strong feelings about everything on this album, right?
Oh, no apologies needed. I mean,
Don't let me overwhelm you with my nonsense.
okay, I want to hear why you hate it, but I think I know why. But why do you hate it? Because I don't hate it, to be honest. But I do hate. There are things I do hate about it. But I'll let you go first.
So I'm at peace with her. Like she does the British voice, but she does it in a fun, like Rex Harrison way. She does it in this kind of old timey,
Right.
With the lady with the umbrella and all that, like
Right.
Mary Poppins. She has that kind of Britishness to her voice, which is fine. This is, to me, it's not how I want the album to open, and I don't have room for it. It's the song is frantic.
Yeah.
To me, it's kind of trying to do everything at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give you all the voices. It's trying to bounce all over the place. It's trying to impress you with like, oh, I've got another persona. I don't want the album to start like this. Period.
And see, I think for me, the issue for me is like I think it was a great start because like we've talked about in other shows, the first song sets the context for which you're kind of listening to the album. It puts you like it's like the introduction, like you're at the door of the house. You know what I mean? And you're walking through. So for me, I thought what she was going for is like to let you know, okay, like this is gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah.
But what I didn't like about it is that I think what you don't like about it is that it's so out of place because she didn't follow up with the energy on this song.
Yeah.
And she didn't find some way, like I think of like Kendrick Lamar, like I think of what's the what was Good Kid Mad City.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he established the theme in the first song, and then he carried out that theme throughout the project.
I mean, and it doesn't have to be as direct as that. It doesn't have to be like it, but you do need to set a tone that will be important for the rest of the album.
Yeah.
This isn't it. Every single kind of Nicki is better than this on this album. Like, to me. So it's not, yeah. I would cut this. Do you have any problem cutting this?
I think because I think this was like her mission statement. So it would be difficult for me to cut it.
I don't
what
think
I would
it's the
say,
mission
I think
statement.
the compromise.
I really don't.
Huh?
I don't think it's the mission statement.
I think the compromise, what I could do is if you cut it in, maybe do like an intro, maybe cut it in a minute, 2 minutes. almost like she did with
Okay, like a Jay-Z intro?
yeah, like a Jay-Z intro, or she had the intro of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. She did the intro on that, and that led right into the first song.
Because here's my thing. I
Yeah,
want to cut my vision is you cut this out completely, and
yeah.
the first thing you hear on the album. Let me see if I can do this. Come on a Cone is awesome.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
I love Come on a Cone. It starts with her with a beautiful verse, totally locked in, totally cool, calm, and collected,
yeah.
confident. That's how I want to start the album. Now, Come on a Cone, the cool thing about Come on a Cone, if you're like, I want the voices, I want the craziness, it builds to that, right? It starts out cool, confident, Nikki, and it builds to it should come on a cone, and like it really does erupt. But it's an escalation. It's a really thoughtful escalation, and it's Hit Boy. It's a really good Hit Boy beat.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, I can see what you're saying. I do think Come on a Cone should be one of the first. You're right. I could see it being the first one of the first songs, but then again, I think there's almost like it's almost too good to be at the beginning for me.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I just think that her verse and that beat and it's starting out like that song is going to give you what you wanted from Nikki, right? Like what you wanted Nikki to deliver.
Right.
Um, I don't think Roman Holiday does. So I would vote Come on a Cone for the first song. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you thumbs up or thumbs down?
I mean, I had it on my list. I had it as number two song. So number one, I can agree.
Okay. Now,
I can agree with it. That's what.
by the way, do for the letter grade comparison, right? Before we restructure this as it is, what do you
Mhm.
if you had to give it a grade A through F, what would you give it?
I'd give it a B minus.
A what?
B minus.
B minus. Okay, okay. I would give it a C. I would give it a C. But I'm right on that edge with you. I understand that B minus because there's the high moments are very high.
Yeah, I mean, it just has it. There's a lot. There's too many. There's too many good elements for me to give it below a B.
Right. That's fair. Um, so yeah, Come on a Cone. Now, the next one, I Am Your Leader. I don't know if you're hearing it. You hearing it?
Yeah, I hear it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So it's I Am Your Leader is another Hit Boy, right? But you start to see what the problems with the album, right? Because this album too much creates different sections for songs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Here's the rap section, here's the dance section, here's the pop section. That's one of the problems with the album, right? We need to mix this up. Do not give me these, do not blow these all at once, right? But we had Come on a Cone, which gives us everything we want from rap, right? I don't want another rap song to follow that. I want to throw a different genre in there and mix it up. So this to me, I'm Your Leader is a bump down. I noted when I heard this, I was like, this has got to be like more towards the middle of the album ish. Like this can't be right off the bat like this.
I mean, for me, I had it off my list, but I understand there's like an element of you know, with these albums, there's an element of strategy as well. You know, so not, I think you can view albums on like multiple levels. Oh, not think you can view albums on multiple levels. Yes, there's like a we look at it music, we listen to it musically, but we're also looking at it strategically in terms of what are they trying to do with their career and how are they taking steps to develop their career in the way that they'd like to. And I think she put this song on one because, I mean, you've got Rick Ross at the time was one of the biggest names in hip hop. So
One of the
you
biggest
have
names.
to have him.
Yep.
You have in 2012. You have to have him on an album.
Yeah.
And then I think Cameron is just a lot of fun. He's always fun.
To me, the two reasons that you like, so there's three reasons to keep this, right? First is you will need this to break up all these pop songs later in the album, right? You will need a rap song with dope MCs to kind of break up the Katy Perry-ness of what's going to happen later, right? But the beat is awesome. I love this beat. And I love Cameron's verse.
I do too.
I don't want to cut. Nicki's awesome on this, and so is Cameron. Like I want to keep that song even for the fun of that stuff.
Yeah, I'd agree. You're right. I think maybe it was a little bit too. You're right. I think it's a little bit too early for this one.
It's a bump down. It's a bump down.
Yeah.
So the next one is Bees in the Trap, which, by the way, is one of the songs I think of most when I think of this album, right?
This is a song I think, yes. I mean, this is I would argue this is one of her best songs. This is like a gem in her category, as well as being probably the best song on the album, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, 2 Chainz is fantastic. It's great, you know. So for me, here's what I'm selling. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, I said I didn't want another rap song to follow Come on a Cone. I lied to you. Sorry. I want Bees in the Trap second.
Ooh.
I want Come on a Cone, then Bees in the Trap.
That's for me, that's almost too much heat from the gate.
But that's what I'm trying to do here. Okay, you'll realize I'm trying to make the first, I don't know, 6, 7 songs, 8 songs impactful, very impactful. So it doesn't drag, right? And if I hit you right off the bat with Come on a Cone, and then I follow it with Bees in the Trap, you're in.
Is Bees in the Trap, do you think that's the best rap song on the album?
Probably.
I just don't.
Yeah.
You know, it's just for me, like you don't see rap. I don't think you see rap albums where the best song. I mean, you can't have, for me, you just can't have the best song be like the second or third song.
Well, yeah, I think Midas the Beast said something interesting about that. He said the first song is going to be like your introduction to what the album is, and it's good. You got to grab people's attention. But the second song is like, you can't fuck with me. Like it's your you can't fuck with me song, right? So I think Bees in the Trap does function that way here, where like the first song lures you in and you're like, oh shit, okay, this is a groove. The second song, wow, you know, and then you know you'll hear what I'm going to do next. But yeah,
Okay, all right.
I mean, it's up to you. What do you where did you have Bees in the Trap?
I actually bumped it down to the 4th, and I moved.
It's already 4th.
I'm sorry. On my track list,
Yeah.
I cut the Cam song,
Oh yeah.
and I actually have Roman Reloaded before Bees in the Trap.
Oh. Okay. Interesting. So
Because I think for
you have
me, I think you have to build up to like Bees in the Trap is a moment.
yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
to me, I wanted, like, one of the things I wanted to do was get the best songs, some of the best songs in the front end,
bro.
so that people would already feel by the time they get to track 8, they feel like they've gotten what they came for, right? So that
Hmm.
there isn't as much pressure on the back end of the album, right?
Okay.
Uh, that was my thought process, but we'll keep rolling here now. So
Hmm.
Bees in the Trap. I The next one is Hove Lane. I hated the song when this album came out.
Okay.
Hated it. Was not into it. Um, I'm okay with it now. I'm okay with it now because it has a strong hook. It's got a strong hook. It's got a mediocre beat. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But that's a song that comes in handy. I tuck in my pocket for the later half of the album when there's just too much pop music. That is an album cut. This is Hove Lane should not be in the top 5 songs on this album.
I agree. I cut Hove Lane too out of my track list, but
Which is fair. That's fair.
I mean, what was it? What made you come around to Hove Lane? It was the hook.
It was when I was structuring the album, I was totally bamboozled by how much like pop music back to back is on the second half of this album.
Right.
And I was like, no, man, I kind of want to go from, I kind of want to mix. And if I want to mix, I've got to keep some of these rap songs that, for that mix. And Hove Lane comes in handy when in that transitionary period. Yeah, going from some of these big pops dance songs to something like Hove Lane is interesting. You know,
Okay.
I'll show you my track listing at the end. We'll do that.
Okay.
Roman Reloaded. Did you cut this? You said
No, I kept Roman Reloaded.
good. I thought I was gonna cut it. I really did. I, it's just a really weird song. It's a really
Yeah.
weird song. It's gross. They're being gross, obviously, Nikki and and Wayne,
Wheezy.
but they're also being really odd. The bang stuff. Like Wayne has this part of the songs where he's like running out of breath, where he like on purpose does
Right.
like a bang, a bang, bang, a bang, a bang. It's almost like a Muppets bit, where he's like
I,
running out of steam. It's really weird.
and you see, the only reason I kept this because I think, first of all, she needed to have a song with Wayne. You have, strategically speaking,
Yes.
you needed to have a song with Wayne on the album.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
of the 2 Wayne features, I thought this one was the better one. So
Yeah.
I kept this one and I cut the other one. But
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think,
honestly, Kay,
yeah,
Sex in the Lounge, we're gonna take some time to shit on Sex in the Lounge. We're gonna carve out some time. This is gross. This song is gross, but it's kind of dope. Like in my track list, right? When you had like these kind of syrupy love songs, and you could
mhm.
jam this after it. Ooh, it was fun. It was so
Mm.
fun to just use it as a tool to shock people and be like, "Oh, you thought this was this nice time." It's gross.
You see, and I think this song would have been better if I feel like if she had created a narrative for the album,
Yeah.
and then she could have continued, like, there should have been a connection between Roman Holiday and Roman Reloaded.
Yeah.
There
Yep.
if there was an explicit connection between the two, so that we would consider the song, oh, I guess that for this song, Roman's unhinged. Maybe he
Well,
came out of the
yeah.
psyche or something.
Yeah.
Then it would make sense to me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But
Yeah.
when you name, I mean, this is the album track. This is because
This is the title. Yep.
right right. So it needed to be. This has got to be like a strong song,
You're right.
and it's got to have some type of meaning, and it just didn't deliver.
It's just not the most important song on the album, which is usually
Right.
what you want your title track to be. But
Right.
I will tell you, this 2012 came at a time where there was an abundance of albums by people creating alternate personalities, right?
Mhm.
Eminem, Marshall Mathers, T.I.P., Sasha Fierce. Everybody had their little secondary personality album,
Right.
and I was really over it. I was over it. I wasn't in love with it when Eminem was doing it, to be honest.
Mhm.
But it really got a lot. So by the time this came out, I was like, oh, I don't care about the Roman stuff. Like, so that's why my thought was, instead of trying to find a way to link Roman Holiday and Roman Reloaded, just cut Roman Holiday, leave Roman Reloaded because it's a title track, right? And it's got Wayne, it's fun, and keep it moving. Yeah.
Fair. I mean, I do think the album title was a mistake as well.
Oh
but
yeah.
we won't
Oh
get
God, yeah. Let's carve
Yeah.
out some time to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll touch on that later. But
Yeah, yeah. We can talk about that later. So there's a lot of problems with this, but yeah. So Roman Reloaded, it's a bump down for me. I kept it, but I bumped it down.
yeah,
Did you leave it in this spot or did you bump it down?
I bumped it up to third.
Bumped it up. Oh yes, to third. You told me. So Champion is next.
Yeah.
A weird song. Ooh, Champion.
Yes. It is weird, but I understand why she had it. Strategically speaking, I understood.
It's weird because it's such a subdued beat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. It's such a boring beat.
Well, I think she wanted to, for me, like, I think of it strategically speaking. I think of it in terms of the other part, like Swagger, Swagger Like Us came out 2007.
Yeah.
And then I think Drake had Forever. I don't remember when Forever. I don't know if that was before or after this. But
those are both more interesting beats than this. This is like T Minus and Nikhil Siharam. I'm like,
yeah,
what is going on? Like you could have been knocked on Jeezy's door and got like a DJ Twump beat, right?
oh, man.
You could have asked Drake for a 40 beat, right? Like, come on, bro. Like you could have done lots of stuff.
I mean, I bet it was probably built on Nas. Like, first of all, she needed it for the names. She needed it to establish, like, look, like, I got Jeezy, Nas, Drake on a song. I'm the only woman here. Like, I'm right up there with them. Just like I was right up there with Kanye and Jay-Z. So she needed to establish, like, look, I got a song with Jay-Z. I got a song with Nas. I bet she sent this to Nas. I bet she sent a couple beats to Nas. Nas was like, yeah, this is the one I like.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I guess that's the one we're going with.
Make them play on your court. Don't pick the beat Nas wants. Don't let Nas pick your beat. Pick your own beat and have Nas jump on your beat. Like, don't hold your ground. Hold your ground.
Well, she, as I said, she just needed it. She needed it for the discography to show, like, look, I did a song with Jay-Z. I did a song with Nas and Jeezy.
I mean, it's not a bad song. And honestly,
no,
it grew on me as I was listening to this, right? I thought I was going to cut it because I don't think this is anybody's best verse, right?
Right.
Jeezy
No.
sounds like he needs cough drops. He's really crazy raspy. Drake is inconsequential. And Nas is weird. It's a weird Nas verse. It's odd.
You're right. I just think you're right. I think with a song title like Champion, you expect it to be triumphant.
Yeah, and this is just jarring. But like, I think this is a bump down for me, right? It actually does pop in my playlist when you put it next to these other brighter, poppier, trashier dance songs.
Yeah, I bumped it down and I switched right. I switched the next song right by my side with this song. So it goes right by my side first and then Champion.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about your friend Chris Brown. See here. Right by my side. So I don't like this song at all. And look, I'm not a Chris Brown guy. I've never been a Chris Brown guy. I'll live with that pain, you know. But that has nothing to do with it. I can listen to a song Chris Brown on it. It's not like he destroys songs for me. This is, to me. So you remember what I told you with the three components, right?
Mm-hmm.
Three components, right? The island flavor, the New York boom bap, right? New York hip hop lineage,
Okay.
and the the bold dance music, right? This fits none of those three. This is just a very watery, watered down song.
I think for me, I think the purpose of it was look like she needed to show like, look, I can do R&B as well. I can sing as well. And I mean it's a very 2000s. I mean it's a very early 2010 R&B song to me. It's like almost
really
like a time
is. It
capsule.
really is.
And so I feel like she needed. This was almost like one of those flex tracks. Like, look, like, I just gave you bars. I just rapped for the first half. Now let me show you I can sing a little bit just to switch up on you guys.
Yeah. This section I just don't need at all. Like, I don't need this at all. Like, right, this I if I ran into someone and they said this was their favorite Nicki song, I would be shocked. My jaw would drop. Like,
no,
this song doesn't matter at all. It doesn't make sense for this album. It's gushy and cheesy and like, it's a compromise. One of the problems I have with this album, K, like at first when it came out, I thought it was just a mess, but I don't think it's that anymore. I think the biggest problem this album has is it compromises.
Yeah, I mean it's very very strategic.
Yeah, it
like,
compromises.
I mean, she mentioned because I was doing some of I did a little bit of research for the album, and she mentioned like I wanted this album to represent freedom, and I felt like my first album was a little bit too restricted, and so I wanted to just have the freedom to explore whatever I wanted. And I mean that's nice, but at the same time, I think what she was really she wanted to accomplish that, but I also think she wanted to kind of set her career up a little bit and move forward in like specific directions.
Right. I mean, this thing, the music video for this has like 580 million, views, right? Because Chris Brown is beloved and all that. So wanted to chart with him. It's almost like back in the day when rappers had that one song with R. Kelly on their album. And it was just like, it never fit. It always kind of messed up the sequence of the album. And you were just
Right.
like, why, dude? Like, just don't do that. And it was the money. The money talked, right?
I mean, I almost want to call it pandering, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, because I have respect for Nicki, so I'm not going to say pandering. But you could see what she was doing. I see what she was trying to accomplish strategically.
I think the best version of this album does not have this song. I cut it. I would cut it.
I'd agree.
Okay. So let's move. This is possibly the worst song on the album, in my opinion. Sex in the Lounge.
Yeah.
Bobby V.
Even though I do like Bobby Valentino, I do like him.
Bobby V, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj. This is just gross. This is just like, yeah. This is just like the wrong kind of sexual.
Yeah, no need for this song whatsoever.
None. Like, and all throughout this album, Nicki's going to talk about sex from every single angle. This isn't one of them you'll miss or need. The format of it is super generic, right?
Yeah.
Super generic, super uninteresting. Wayne does better on Reloaded. There's just no need for there's no need for the song at all. Right?
I mean, this was one of the few songs on the album that I felt like actually detracted from the album. The other songs, like you could make a case for them, like, okay, like I see where she has it, or blah blah. There's no case I can make for this song, and it actually detracts from everything around it.
Right. It totally, absolutely the case. This is one of those songs where when you take it off, the album's better.
Yes.
When you take out
Yes.
Right By My Side and Sex in the Lounge, the album is significantly better just from making those cuts, right? Because you have to keep in mind, this, when it came out, it's 19 songs. Was it like an hour and 6 minutes or something?
Let's see. It was the track listing 69 minutes.
Yeah,
which I'm gonna think that was by accident.
Hour and 9 minutes. So
hour and 9.
Yeah. So here's the thing. And by the way, people who are like, but they had a deluxe edition with it. Those tracks suck.
Awful.
Those tracks are terrible.
Awful.
There's maybe one like that is pretty interesting, but then it doesn't fit the album. Like none of those songs fit the album. So that I didn't want to incorporate anything past the 19 songs. Those didn't affect this. But yeah, an hour and 9 minutes. My rule for albums that are over an hour, you better have something to say. Right? You better have something to say. This album doesn't have an hour's worth of stuff to say. It just doesn't.
No.
That's not a knock on her. There's lots of albums that don't have an hour's worth of story to tell. That's a special tier, right? This ain't that. So I'm cutting it now.
Right.
Starships. Whew. People hate.
I mean, you can still. I think I went out a couple weeks ago and I heard this song playing.
What'd you say?
I think I went out a couple weeks ago at a bar and they were playing this song. Like, this is, to me, this is an important song.
Oh yeah. That's what makes the Nicki rap fans so mad.
Yeah.
Clearly one of the most important songs of her career.
Yes.
It's clearly fantastic. Like it
is.
It's a jam. Like, so here's my thing. You're gonna freak out. Okay. So
Go ahead.
My track list is Come on a Cone first, right? Bees in the Trap second, Starships third.
Oh.
Hitting them right in the face.
You're gonna have the arguably best two songs on the album back to back,
but different genres, right? Different genres. So if I'm not gonna throw, because that's one of the problems is Starships is track 10 on this, and no one saw it coming, right? So if you've got a surprise like that, I'm gonna put it right up front.
See, and this is where I think if she had a narrative, she could have established it would have made a lot more sense. Or even if she had done like a middle track, maybe she had done like an interlude or something that signified, I don't know, maybe Roman went to like another dimension or something. I don't know. She needed something, the split, that served as like a signifier, like, okay, we're going in a totally different direction right here.
Right. And so to me, that's why I'm putting it right up front. So the rest of these songs won't surprise you. Pound the Alarm won't surprise you. None of that. You're gonna be ready for this because number 3, I gave it to you. Now, where did you put Starships?
So I had Starships after Champion. I think Champion,
That's not a bad call.
to me, like you said, it was slow. I think Champion to me should have been like the coronation moment where like, okay, like, I'm the queen of hip hop right now.
Yep.
Like I got a song with Nas, Jeezy, and Drake. So this is like my high peak rap wise. Now let me show you what I can do on the pop side.
Yeah. That's I can see that vision. I think that makes sense. Now Pound the Alarm. Pound the Alarm is, and by the way, I think Starships to Pound the Alarm is a very important moment for her, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same production team, right? Isn't Red One
Yes.
both of that? Yeah.
Yes. No, Red One. Wow. Red One had Starships, Pound the Alarm, Whip It, and Automatic. So he had a 4-run.
Wow. Yeah.
And
So
Red One is he's a very important.
critical.
I mean, Gaga at the time was working with him as well.
Critical.
So he's very important in that time space in terms of the in terms of the dance phase that was going on.
Yeah. I mean, I love the song and I love the transition from Starships to Pound the Alarm, but for the good of my album, I had to break this team up. Yeah. So it's number 11 on this, right?
It is, yes, it's number 11.
It's number 8 on mine. Number 8.
Okay.
When I heard this, I was like, this is great. I love this song. But I need this like deeper into my album than I need Starships right up front, and I need Pound the Alarm later to give you the other side of that a little later.
Okay.
That was my thought. Did you kept them together or what?
I did keep them together because I structured the album as like a clear, like almost like a side A, side B. Like A is rap, B is the dance, pop.
Yeah, you followed the structure of what she was trying to do.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. I reinvented the wheel a little bit. So the next one is Whip It, right?
Yep.
I thought I was going to cut this, and I'm still on the fence of it. I'm not in love with this.
I'm not either. It's funny because I have it on, like I'm looking at my board and I have it on my cut list, but I also have it in my track listing. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I was on
which one was first.
I think I wrote a note saying like it's a Katy Perry song, but not a particularly bad one.
A Katy Perry song, but not a particularly bad one.
It's a clear pop song, right? It's a clear.
Right.
pop song, and it's the kind of dance pop that, like, you know, yeah, like that fireworks feel, like the Katy
right,
Perry, like that
right.
vibe, innocuous, unthreatening, which to me almost makes it not fit this album, because this album has supposed to have teeth in it, right? It's supposed to be jarring. Like she tells
Right.
you to suck her dick constantly on this album, right? This album's supposed to hit you in the face.
Right.
Yeah, coming to color, which is dick in your face. She does all that. So
Unhinged. Yeah.
yeah. So this song is weird, but I did keep it. I just put it near the end. I bumped it down in my track list. But maybe that's where
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's in the same spot. Because who knows? Let me see.
I mean,
Yeah, actually, it's up a few spots because I don't have 19 songs, so
right.
it's at like 10 or something. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Oh, to give you an idea of why I kept it, right? You think about it. Do you know what song comes after this one in my track list?
Which one?
The song that comes after Whip It. I have Hove Lane coming after Whip It.
Okay. All right. I mean that makes sense in terms of your. That's what I mean, and I think that's another issue that I have with the with the album. Like, I've got to be able to follow the logic. Like, I think you can view albums on like a logical level as well. Like, okay, like this is what they were trying to do logically here. Like,
But
this
I
is
think,
why
yeah.
they sequenced it here. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that as long as you have like solid logic behind the pairing and why you did it that way.
My playlist is anti the logic, right? Because I think that's part of the problem of the rollout is, and the side A, side B, rap side, pop side is
Mm-hmm.
like Nicki's mind and tastes are chaos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my track list kind of embraces the chaos a little bit.
Mm.
And it's about like, you know what? What if we went from what was it? It was Champion, then Whip It, then Hove Lane. This is near the end of the thing. So like embrace the chaos, you know. Go from
I mean,
extremes and enjoy them.
but let's say you were listening to your album on in a car.
Yep.
Would you skip? Would you skip some of the tracks? Like, let's say, like you go into one of the songs. Would you like listen to the song right after it and let it flow?
Whip It is the only one I felt like if I cut it, it wouldn't really hurt my album. It's the only one I wasn't married to.
Okay.
But I didn't want to go from Champion to Hove Lane, and so I kept one of the pop songs. But and as we will see, let me see. I don't like Automatic at all.
Yeah, I cut that one. It just, and who produced Automatic?
Did you say
Automatic was Red One. You're right.
Red?
I think once you get to the last Red One song, like I think 3 Red One songs are good. Like I think that fourth one is just pushing it. It's a little bit.
Yeah.
It's starting to blend. The elements are starting to blend a little too much.
And this is what I was saying. It was like, I don't want 4 of these songs in a row, right? I want to break this up. And
right.
But yeah, Automatic, I would cut it.
Yep.
What Automatic shows, I think it's important about Automatic. In terms of these pop songs that Nicki wanted to do, I always at the time made fun of her and said she wants to do Rihanna songs, right? that like whenever she does a basic pop song, it's a Rihanna song, you know.
Mhm.
But the vibe of it, Automatic, is a song anybody could have done.
Yeah, very generic.
Anybody in the world. You could have handed that to anybody. T-Pain could have done it. Anybody could have done it, right?
And it probably was, to be honest.
The Dream could have done it. You know, you could have just handed that off to, you know, Sierra. You know, you could have handed that off to anybody, dude.
Yeah.
And it would have been, you know, better or just as good. It's not consequential.
Yeah. It's inconsequential to me. Like
What did I
you
say?
said,
I had a note where I was like, this is like a song that Cher left on the cutting room floor during the dance era. Yeah. So I want it out of there. But the next song is super cheesy in a way I love. It's
yes.
Beautiful Sinner.
Yeah, this is a keeper.
I kept Beautiful Sinner. I love Beautiful Sinner.
I did too.
Thing is, it's got to be weird enough to feel like her song.
Yeah.
If it's gonna be a pop song, it's got to be weird, man. And this has weird enough stuff. It has the singing, it has the rapping, it has the dance pace to it. It gets aggressive. It fits the album.
Yeah, I thought Beautiful Sinners was one of the highlights. Beautiful Sinner was one of the highlights on the album to me.
And I moved it up my track list because I really like it. I really think it's
Where'd you move it to?
It was 5.
Oh wow.
I like my track. I like my playlist. I'm telling you.
So you got Bees, Starships, and Beautiful Sinner back to back?
No. I got something in between Starships and Beautiful Sinner. We're gonna talk.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm excited about it. Ooh, we got some more things that I really want to cut. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I want to cut this so hard. So hard. Marilyn Monroe. I want to cut so hard.
Interesting. You wanted to cut Marilyn Monroe. Okay.
Yeah, by the way, I don't want to come off that. This is a good song. It's a good song. Like I don't love the premise of like this is how Marilyn Monroe felt. Like relax. It's a little bit like the Beyonce song about being too pretty and how hard it is to be pretty and all that. It has that vibes, but it's a good song. It's too slow for this album. Period. It doesn't belong on this album. It doesn't work pace-wise.
It doesn't, but I think she wanted, this was one of those songs, like, I think she wanted to get this off her chest. I think this was one of the songs where she was like, this is how I'm feeling. I really want to express this. So that's the only reason I kept it, because I think that it was like sincere and like, I don't want to say not corny way, but yeah, it was sincere to me.
There was
sincerity in the song.
It was sincere. I don't think it fits what this album's trying to do, but where did you put it?
I had it. So, I mean, near the end, like for me, the way my mind works in terms of listening, like I have to think of music, like the track listing in like a logical, I almost think of it in like art type of ways. Like, okay, this is like art. We got to build towards this moment. This is what we're building towards. So I almost had like the end of the album to me was like, that was her vulnerable side. So we seen the, the rap side, which is, the posturing, like the hardcore raps. Then we saw the dance, like the dance part, like, just having fun going out to the club. This is like when you get home, the end of the album to me is like you get home and you're like, at 1 a.m. in the morning, you're alone in your bed and you're like just thinking about, oh damn, I came home alone. And so it's like and you're starting to reflect and catch up on all of the things that happened in the past. So I had Marilyn Monroe, and then after Beautiful Sinner.
Okay, so you kept it where it was.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's an interesting way to look at it. I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, I was only thinking in terms of her, like, why would she? Like you said, it doesn't really fit.
No, it
with
doesn't.
the other song.
It doesn't. And
So I was just thinking, like, why would she have it on here then if it doesn't fit? And I think that's the reason why she had it. She wanted to throw, like, it's almost like that song. What's the song? Pills and Potions.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
Nikki loves those types of songs. Like, okay, I'm gonna slow it down and be very vulnerable with you guys right now, and I'm gonna show you, like, yeah, you know, like I have this persona of being confident, but I'm also self-conscious as well. So
Yep. A ballad. She loves a good ballad.
yes.
So yeah, I don't know, but we'll get to it. I mean, I think the problem with this album, it has back-to-back songs that accomplish the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And so
Right. It's not it kind of waters it down a little
to me,
bit.
you can't have Marilyn Monroe and then Young Forever. You can't do it. It's too much. It's too much of this weird, syrupy, kind of cheesy stuff. I cut Young Forever.
I cut Young Forever too. Yep.
I was like, I was reticent with the cut for Marilyn Monroe, right? I was like, I understand this is like something that is meaningful, right? Young Forever, just let's go, cut it, nothing. Your audio's cutting out. Are you good?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. Okay. So yeah, Young Forever is cheesy. It reminds me of that Blueprint 3 song, Young Forever.
Forever Young. That was Forever Young. Yeah.
Forever Young. Or is it very similar kind of like, watch me do a different thing? And it's like, oh, you suck. Stop this.
Let me see who did Young Forever.
Oh, that's Jay, right?
Wow, that was a Dr. Luke song.
Oh, right. This one, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you had to. Once again, I think that's almost like a pandering. I mean, it's difficult because at the time you gotta think Dr. Luke is probably still is on the low, one of the most important producers in the pop landscape.
Right.
So if you got to have a Dr. Luke song, strategically speaking, on the album, and unfortunately it was this one. But I get it. But you're right. In terms of just pure like musicality, I cut it on my track list too.
Yep. And I'm interested to hear about this next one. Fire Burns.
Do you cut it?
Oh yeah, I don't have any use for this. I don't have any use for this stuff. I cut Marilyn Monroe, Young Forever, and Fire Burns. I don't have any use for this. There's just not enough of these kind of songs to make it make sense for the listener, right?
Yeah,
like it's just so weird. It's such a weird section. I felt the same way about like cutting the Chris Brown and the Bobby V. Like they just don't make sense on this.
I kept Fire Burns. But you're right. I do agree with you. I don't disagree with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, in terms of my art, you couldn't go because I only have after Fire Burns, I only have one more song on the album. you couldn't logically go from Marilyn Monroe to the last song
Okay.
that I have.
Yeah. My track list is different, buddy. I'm doing
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I cut all this stuff. These might be okay bonus tracks or something to throw on the backside of like you know, but you know what you would do probably nowadays is you would probably break this up into part 1, part 2,
Yeah.
right? You would release Roman Reloaded 1, Roman Reloaded 2, right? You'd have like 10 songs a piece or something.
I think and I'll go back to it. If she had just had a creative arc or a creative narrative on the album, she could have made these songs make sense.
Right.
It almost, and to like, to go back to what I was saying at the beginning about how she influenced Drake. Like Drake straight took her blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because Nicki was doing it better. Like what Drake intended to do in 2021, Nicki did better 9 years before, in my opinion.
Right.
But I think what she's trying to do is, like I said, she's going to give you everything.
Yeah.
And she's not going to cut anything. And she has the confidence in herself where she thinks, okay, like I can go in any direction, whatever, and they'll follow.
Yeah. No, it people forget, as you're saying, that Nicki's first album is better than Drake's first official album.
Yes.
So like they were co-creating this mixture, right? And Drake was a lot more careful with his, right? He was a lot more careful with his mixture. He didn't, and I think that allowed him to be big on the charts, but also have critical acclaim. I think Nicki kind of lost the critics with this album and how crazy messy it is. And this is, part of the reason for that, yeah.
And I mean, I think 50, I said 50. What I meant, Drake had 40. And I think 40 was, and he still is, he was a guy, like we talked about last show. You need someone, you want a producer, you want someone in the room that can view you objectively.
Great point. I mean, there's so many producers on this, right?
Yeah.
We talked about the Hit Boy section, the Red One section, there's J.R. Rodham, it's all over the map. It doesn't unify really well,
Right.
Which you needed a new vision. I got a new vision. I got the whole thing. Okay. Let me see. So the next one is Sagana.
Right.
That's a long intro. Gunshot, buddy. Gunshot. How do you feel about it?
I cut it. Even
You
though
cut it.
yeah.
Talk to me about why you cut it.
I think because I was going by the separation of rap and pop. It didn't fit into me, and it goes to what you were saying about in terms of the Caribbean aspect to it.
Yep.
This was not the right project for this song.
Interesting.
I think she could have sat on this song, and a lot of rappers do that. Like there are a lot of artists who will create a song and hold it because it doesn't fit that project.
Right,
And they'll
right.
save it for a project later on that it fits. And this didn't fit the project on either side, the rap or the pop side to me. So I cut it.
I couldn't disagree with more. This is so to me. This does link to Pound the Alarm, right? Which is also kind of an island feel.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was playing this. My wife came home right as I was playing this, and I told her what we were doing, and I said, "It really bugs me that this isn't the last song. Like this should definitely be the last song." And she said, "This does sound like a last song." This is my last song.
It's funny because on Queen, didn't she had that song with Foxy Brown, right? That was Island tinge. So you're right. Maybe it was. You're right. It could have been the last song.
The last song, I think it's a powerful last song and a
Yeah.
much better ending than the official last song, right? Let me see here. So, Stupid Ho, I did not like it at the time.
Yeah.
I was very mad at the song at the time. I have a friend who loved it, who was like, "This is crazy shit ever. I love that she's doing this." It, this shouldn't be the end of the album, right? I think what made me mad about that song is that it was in the end of the album, right? If I put it inside the track list, and it made way more sense outside of where its position right now.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the songs like you can't, because Stupid Ho is an important song in terms of her discography.
Right.
And so you can't cut it.
No.
And I'm sure there was like a large swath of her fan base that was looking for Stupid Ho on the track.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think if she had had better sequencing, you could have found a place to fit this in that would have made it have more of an impact to the people who are not Stupid Ho fans.
It's clutch. Yeah. So I would, it's a bump up for me. Did you cut it or did you bump it up? Or
no, I kept it. I didn't know. You're right, because I'm not quite sure why she wanted to end with Stupid Ho.
Yeah.
Maybe it was one of the things where she's like, oh, the fans, this is what they want. Let me put it at the end, so they have to go through it. But I did keep it. I did keep it as the last. So my last 3 tracks are Marilyn Monroe, Fire Burns, Stupid Ho.
Interesting. That is a jarring change from Marilyn Monroe, Fire Burns to Stupid Ho. But you were talking about how you wished you had something to transition that. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
No, it's wow. We should talk about. Let's kick the share here. So, it just overall, we were going to talk about the problem with the title, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem with the title. What would you say is the problem with the title?
Well, I mean, it creates a context for the album, and particularly when you think of Romans as a character. If you have a character, typically like that character has like a story or an arc that they go through. You know what I mean? Like, why would you have? It's like it would be like, J.K. Rowling if she had like a Harry Potter series, like Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and Harry Potter was just like a secondary character in it.
Yeah.
You'd be like, okay, so why didn't you just name it the Sorcerer's Stone or something? Why do you have to have, so it just created a bad context for me. And then, in terms of the first track being Roman Holiday and then Roman Reloaded, like, what were you trying to accomplish with the Roman theme?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. this is not a concept album, so why are you pretending it is, right?
Right.
My point is a little more on the surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going into the store because because I think this came out when CDs were big, right?
2012, yeah. I mean, this was on the cusp. This was right before streaming.
Right.
No, I shouldn't say right. This was before streaming really hit big.
So
Started.
I'm
big.
going into Best Buy and I'm looking for the new Nicki Minaj album, and it says Pink Friday. And I'm like, I already have Pink Friday.
Yeah.
Why is this Pink Friday? Roman Reloaded, and then there's Pink Friday, the re-up or redo deluxe edition, like
Right.
creates brand confusion, right? It creates
Right. Or if she was trying to do like, Jay-Z had Blueprint, and she should have just gone by numbers, because that's typically that eliminates that brand confusion. This could have been Pink Friday 2. Or next
Pink Friday 2 is what's coming out, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, I don't even know what the name of this out.
I think it's going to be Pink Friday 2.
Yeah, you're right. It's just confusing.
It's coming out in a few days. Yeah, from when we did Pink Friday 2. So yeah, it's weird to just always have this wrapped it. You just need to be bold enough as an artist to go with a totally new name and say it's a new album.
Yeah.
We're not doing a continuation of the album. We're not doing a sequel to the old album you love. We're doing a new album, and it's going to be as good or better, right?
Right.
That you gamble on yourself, right?
Right.
You don't keep saying, "Oh, we're doing a sequel." No, like,
right.
Like all the major guys that are the top guys in the industry, they don't do that. The top people in the industry, they don't do that. Like,
I mean, well, Jay had the Blueprint series.
Yeah, but those are clear sequels or leave it alone. Which to your point, there's no confusion, right?
Right. There's just too much confusion.
1, 2, 3. So it's the semi sequel makes it really awkward, right? And also, even if you took Pink Friday out of it, Roman Reloaded is not a great title.
No, awful.
Because Reloaded is a nod to like Roman's back and we're back again, and it's like
right.
You need to be confident in your journey and what you're doing. So,
and was her first album was just Pink Friday. There was no like Roman or anything in it. There's like the introduction of Roman, right? So how would he be reloaded on the second album? I mean,
maybe there's lots of Roman stuff that we didn't get to the first. That's fine. Let me go ahead and show you my track list.
Okay.
And we can do, because like I said, I was thinking about it. Makes sense to me to just go with a different theme, right? Call this Roman's Collection, right? Because it's a collection of all the sounds that is this Roman character's favorite songs or favorite genres, right? It's almost like a collection CD or vinyl collection of different albums, right?
Okay.
So Come on a Cone, first song. Bees in the Trap. Starships. Stupid Hoe is next. Think of that top 4, right? That's a powerful top 4.
Yeah, I mean, almost too powerful.
I'm trying to get your attention. And
right, you've accomplished that for sure.
And then 5th, Beautiful Sinner. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got, I mean, that top 5, I'm confident that has you in the door, right?
For sure.
Then Roman Reloaded.
It's almost like a caffeine high or drinking like a Red Bull. Like,
yep.
You drink, you take that, and once it hits, you're like, oh wow, I feel on top of the world. But eventually, that crash is coming. But
and so you go from this kind of Beautiful Sinner dance party to like Roman Reloaded, just gross hardcore Wayne and Nikki, and that's fun. And then I Am Your Leader, this Hit Boy jam, and You're Killing It. And then Pound the Alarm after I Am Your Leader. And then after Pound the Alarm, Champion, very subdued, right? You go from Pound the Alarm, you go down. Champion with that kick, that low beat, minimal beat. Then Whip It to the pop song. The kind of, upbeat, happy pop song, right into Hove Lane, Screwface, And then you end with Gunshot, because Gunshot to me is a mixture of kind of rap world Nicki with the whole theme of gunshots and everything like that. And the island stuff with bringing Beanie in there, Beanie Man, and the pop aesthetics, and it's a warm landing, Right now, this album ends with her just saying, "I'm the female Wheezy." Come on, man, I don't want that. Like this album, my album ends at a real ending. It's a real joke. That's
I'm gonna have to listen to it in that way.
Yeah, dude. Doing it, man. Doing it. So go over your track list again.
So I had Roman Holiday, Come on a Cone, Roman Reloaded, Bees in the Trap, Right by My Side, Champion, and then it splits into the pop. And then I have Starships, Pound the Alarm, Whip It, Beautiful Sinner, Marilyn Monroe, Fire Burns, Stupid Hoe.
Yeah. Yeah, I see your vision with the side A, side B, but you need a different last song. You really do.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I almost think what she should have done is, you remember how Nelly, I think it was back in 05. Nelly had
Suit. Are you gonna do Sweat and Suit?
Yes.
Oh my boy. That's awesome.
She should have done that, honestly.
I like that. That's fun.
And I don't know why they didn't do it in that way. It would have just made it so much easier, in my opinion.
You saw what happened to Nelly after he released Sweat and Suit. That was not popular.
Because there wasn't enough contrast. I mean, there would have been a clear contrast in this.
Yeah. That's true. She has more dimension than Nelly, certainly.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So that's fair. It could have been a side A, side B situation, but yeah, Stupid Hoes would need to find a new home. Which I think my home for it, I'm very happy with it. At track 4, yeah. Really, really hitting hard at the beginning. So what, I said, I think this is a C before we started, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think my order, I've listened to my order a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think my order brings it to an A minus.
A minus. How many tracks is your order? So
12?
So right now we have 19. I mean, on the original, there's 19,
yep,
right?
12.
So you cut 7, and you get it down.
I cut it from 69 minutes to 44 minutes.
That's, what is that? 69, 44, 20. So you cut 25 minutes.
Yep.
Almost a half an hour.
That's right. It's lean and mean at this point.
You're right. And what I do like about it is that it's got elements of everything that she wanted to have. So it does have some of the pop on it. It does have the hip hop on it, and It does have some of the island on it. So
and so to me, one of the important things for me is I don't want to get rid of the best songs on here just to make it make sense. Right?
Right.
We got to follow the best work. right?
Right.
I'm cool with cutting stuff that doesn't fit if it's good, but if it's elite, we got to figure out how to make it
Yeah.
the center of the thing. So yeah, that's my deal. 44 minutes, you know, crash bang right through there. I think that, yeah, when you go from, yeah, come on a cone, bees in the trap, starships, stupid hoe, beautiful sinner, Roman reloaded, I am your leader, pound the alarm. There isn't anything that would even start to bore you until champion, which is track 9.
Right.
I've got an 8-track run that's genuinely impressive.
For sure. I think that if you do your track listing and you rename the album, to me,
Roman's collection.
give it a new context. I mean, A- is strong to me, but definitely a B+ for sure.
Yep. I think it's good. How do you feel about yours? How do you feel yours changes?
I think, I mean, I do like yours. I like yours, you mixing up the elements a little
Yep.
bit more. I kept mine very separated.
Yep.
And I tried to adhere to the order that she, more or less order that she designed for the original one.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I do like incorporating the various, the various sides of her, like all next to each other instead of separating.
That's cool. Yeah. I like the mixing it up because if you think about it, the children of Nikki have all learned how to mix it up. Right?
Children of who?
Children
Oh,
of Nikki.
Nikki.
All the people influenced by Nikki are throwing you all kinds of looks and all together, and they don't have the problem that she took this hit for them, right? Like she took all the criticism when this came out so that the next time someone put out something like this, people would be like, oh, okay. All right. We understand. Like
And,
yeah.
and the problem is now that like this would be, I mean, this album would fit in the streaming era, the era that we're in now.
Yeah.
This album fits in perfectly.
Oh yeah.
Because this is what everyone, like, you look at it like Drake is doing it. Chris Brown, he's done that. I mean, everyone is now doing like these long albums that really don't have like a narrative or a narrative context over them, and are just really like, okay, so I went in the studio and these are the songs I came out with. I made up in this period of time.
Yeah, you can
You
tell.
guys go.
You can tell with this album, like because you see these pairs of songs all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, 2 Hit Boy songs in a row, 2 Red One songs in a row, right? You like, 4 Red One songs in a row. Like,
Yeah.
you can see that she was trying to kind of give you sections of what you want. If you're a pop person, here's your section. If you're a rap person, here's your section. I think you got to make them all understand who you are. Fuck, right? Show them who you are, and that's what show them the best of who you are in each space. Make them respect that shit. And so that was my thing. I'm proud of my thing. Yeah. So the any other things we should talk about regarding this evaluation of Roman Reloaded?
No. I mean, I'm looking forward to see what she does on Friday.
Yeah, man. I'm with you. I'll be checking it out. I'm rooting for
sure.
it. I did not like Queen that much at all. So
No.
I'm with you. Let me give you some recommendations. Recommendation corner. Don't Forget Me, Bluest. Andrew put out another album, and it is unfriggin' believable. It may be his best. It's super awesome. He's released 4 albums this year or something? This one is just beautiful. It's just perfect. Uh, it's available on $3 Pistol, Zilla's label. Yeah. Oh, Living Blues is amazing. You got to check it if you haven't checked it. The other one, I'm gonna go with Afro Johnny Bravo
Hmm.
by Roy Rudo.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, born in Kenya, raised in Orange County. 5 songs. It's a real groove, man. It's that kind of album where you put it on and you don't even really, you're not really checking like, oh, what is this song? What is this song? It just kind of takes you where it's going, you know. And I really, that's hard to do in 5 songs. So I love that. Love that. The let's see, what was the third one? Oh, Jewel Ave John 2, Stick Figure, Leonard Destroy. Great stuff. Yep. Third Stick Figure album of the year. Super dope. Super dope. So yeah, Stick is awesome. Going after it. What do you listen to?
Man, this has been let's see. Let me try to see if there's anything new. I mean, I really did enjoy that Nikki.
It was
No,
a fun
nothing new
experience.
this week. Nothing new this week. Just looking forward, as I said, I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking for, I mean, it's wild to me. We've got, what do we have? We have 3 more weeks left in the year.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, man. It's just been a lot of, so now like I'm starting to try to digest and really fit, because I mean, this year has been overwhelming in a lot of ways. So I think it's going to take a lot of processing in terms of what did this year mean music wise, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep. The one that Psalm 1 was talking about in the email thread is
Mm-hmm.
one you should check. Elzai and Oh No, Heavy Vibrato.
Heavy vibrato. Okay.
Yep. No, it's crazy. It's a rap clinic. Uh, oh No is crazy underrated. Oh No is related to Madlib and usually gets kind of thought as an appendage of Madlib, but has done some of my favorite beats. Yeah, just an incredible producer, and this album is great. Yeah, you should definitely check it out. It's going to be on that list. And yeah, so yeah, what are we doing? Oh, we're watching the new season of Fargo.
Okay.
Loving that.
I mean, I'm starting to get into, there's this show called The Curse on
The Cur-
Showtime.
Oh wow,
I forgot the guy's name in it. Nathan Fielder. It's Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone.
yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
I'm a real big fan of his stuff as well. So I'm enjoying. I'm only 2 episodes in, but I'm enjoying that. What
Curse.
else? Yeah, yeah.
Yep. I think my son's mad at me a little bit. There's a show on uh Disney called The Crossover. It's based on a kid's book, like by Kwame Alexander.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, Kwame Brown's writing kids
No,
books
Kwame
now.
Alexander. So this guy an important writer and a great poet. Like he
Okay.
wrote this book about basketball. But the dad in the show is like getting bad medical news and doing that like the foreboding coughing and all that shit. So I started calling it the Dead Dad Show. I was like, "Look, you want to watch the Dead Dad show?" And he's like, "No, sure." I was, dude, he's coughing. If you're coughing at a TV show, you're fucked. You're fucked. You're gone. Tell me it's not the truth. 100%
Oh, you're
of characters that cough in TV shows and movies are dead soon thereafter.
I mean, that's the easiest way to show sickness is coughing. You're right.
Oh, gone. Say goodbye. So I don't even know if we're gonna, I may have ruined the show for them. It's one of those things that that's my deal. But yeah, thank you to everybody, man. What a crazy time it's been. For just new subscribers, new listeners, new ears. As I said, the episode where we talk about diabetic test strips is already our 32nd most popular episode, and I posted it 3 days ago. It's nuts. So I couldn't be happier. So I'm gonna try and do my best to give the people what they want.
What will tomorrow bring?